Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm the Rambling Director. Happy Easter. I don't think there's any better way that I could really celebrate Easter on this channel than by showing you just a couple of the. I hope you can hear some of the birds chirping outside because it very much adds to the ambiance of Easter. So I don't think I could really spend Easter better on this channel in a better way than just to talk to you a little bit about a couple short films that I particularly enjoy that are themed around the Easter season. They are both short films that seem to have been made on a very low budget. They were made by these Christian YouTube channels. One seems to be for a church, the other one I'm not sure about. I don't know anything about these churches. I don't know anything they teach or whether or not it's in line with the Bible or not in line with the Bible, or if it's, if they've added anything hateful or anything like that. I don't know because I've done no research into their churches. So understand this is no endorsement of them. I don't know anything about them. This is just sort of an endorsement of these short films for what they are. I think they're both really cool, and I just wanted to share them. The first one is from Blueprint Church. It is a short film that was made in 2019, and you kind of get an idea of what it's going to be just from the title alone. And I will say that is... honestly, I think if they'd come up with a different name, perhaps something more specifically Easter-related, that would probably have been better, because actually I like the fact that this could have been a really good twist if you weren't really sure what this tree... what the purpose of the tree was. But anyway, the short film is called The Tree, so let's start. I'm just watching this off YouTube, so if you hear any mouse clicks, that's what it is. So you see the small tree beginning to grow. Sun comes up, the rain comes down and waters it. We see the forest, and now the tree is fully grown. And this nail marker, I think, is quite clever. I think the indication was supposed to be they were marking the trees they were going to cut down, and they just left the marker on there. But it's a very good visual way of telling this specific tree apart from the other pieces of wood that are going to be used. A little bit like how J.J. Abrams marked Finn's helmet, with that blood. It's just a little bit of visual storytelling to help make things very clear for the audience. I never like it when directors treat the audience like we're stupid, but, Hitchcock had sort of a saying that you never want the audience to be confused, because the moment they become confused, you lose them. So I like that they show these other trees being made into all these beautiful things. And there's almost, because it's told from the tree's point of view, almost an anticipation of, what will I be? What will I be made into? And of course, being the tallest, longest, thickest piece of wood they chop down, it gets made into a cross. Now you can see when it's beside that person who is pulling it, that it is quite a large cross. However, I think, if I do have one criticism of the film, I would say they could have done a better job at showing a sense of scale for how big this cross is. Because you can see it's filmed in very tight close-ups, and that's probably to cut down on budget. Oh, I love this jump cut, watch. See that the cross was dragging along the ground? Then it cuts to Jesus dragging it. You see the sandals, you hear the crowd jeering. Now the hands being nailed in. Another small criticism, but it may be budgetary, in nature, was that I think the nail should have been a little bit longer, a little bit bigger. But, nonetheless, you're working with what you got. I think you did a great job. We see the skies become dark, the rain fall, the blood pouring down the wood, and then the cross is removed. Now the cross is thrown into a burn pile. Now, you can argue the historicity of that, whether or not you believe that, because many people do believe that the cross of Jesus was preserved and then later cut up to be used as relics. But for the sake of the short film, it's burned. So that's it. This mighty tree was cut down and used for an execution and burned. But wait. And now we're back to the first shot of the movie. We're back to the tree is now growing. It's growing again. Jesus' last words in the Bible in the book of Revelation were, "Behold, I make all things new." And then, of course, Jesus himself, realizing what the tree is, comes by and gives it kind of a little blessing. That's really, really cool. I think that's very interesting that they chose to do it this way, to show sort of a beautiful little metaphor about life, death, and resurrection and rebirth. All told not just from the perspective of Jesus, but told from the perspective of the cross. What a grand idea. Again, I don't really know anything about this Blueprint Church website, but if they ever produced any other short films, I'd be interested to see it, because what a fascinating perspective to take on something, to tell it from the point of view not only of an inanimate object, but from an inanimate object that came from life. It was, it was cut down, it died to serve a purpose, and ultimately, because that was a good purpose, it is reborn. It is resurrected. Excellent. Good job, filmmakers. I don't think there was any credits on that film either, so I don't even know who made it, besides just the church as a whole. But you know what? Whoever was in charge of that, whoever did the videography, whoever lit it, whoever came up with the idea of how to tell the story in a way that was not only very cost efficient, but entirely from the perspective of that tree, without ever losing the audience's interest. And it's only 3 minutes, but I mean, it could have been really easy to get bored. You're telling a story from the perspective of a tree, but I was fascinated. From second one, you had me. So, excellent job. Very, very nice. Very, very nice Easter message. Life, death, rebirth. Even a little hint of suffering, because the tree was seeing all these other things being made into beautiful things, and then it just gets made into a rugged old cross and thrown over for somebody to drag on the ground and then execute somebody. So even the cross has an element of suffering in that video. I love that. I'm so happy that I get to share that. Okay, number 2 is called Risen, not to be confused with the feature-length film Risen. This is only 1 minute and 50 seconds, and I really only have one complaint about this one, and I'll get to it because it's very near the end, and I think it sucks out some of the production value, because actually this looks quite expensive. It looks very well done. There's just one shot that is all CGI, and it's actually a shot that was not necessary. I think they could have just cut it out. It would have added a lot to the production value if they hadn't included it, but that's really my only major criticism with this, so let's just dive right in. Risen. This one is by a YouTube channel called The Garaways. They only have 4.4 thousand subscribers. So, again, I don't know if this is just the sort of thing that they make, but I think that it is pretty cool that they made this at all. It's very well done. Okay, so let's get into it. Remnant Ministries Online. So it probably is a church as well. Okay, Resurrection Morning. Although the video is just titled Risen. You see the costumes, the makeup, and the hair is very, very well done in this. Also, wow, what beautiful lighting. What a beautiful way to arrange this scene. I mean, that sunrise is just gorgeous. And they run to the tomb. You can see some of these shots, I mean, they're very, very high value. This was, it can't have been super expensive, but at the same time, it looks super expensive. It looks very, very expensive. I love that shot of the ceiling of the tomb with the light pouring in. That was a beautiful shot. I wish I hadn't been talking over it. I also like that this is told, both of these, but this one in particular, is told a lot like the Passion of the Christ. It's mostly visual. There's no words, there's no dialogue bogging it down. It's all emotions. It's all visual storytelling. And there's the shroud. Boom, he is risen. Creator, King, Shepherd, Savior, spelled as the English spelling, friend, Jesus. Now, I like this as well. You're still continuing the story over the quote from Revelation. You see Jesus in the background holding up his hand, resurrected. That right there, we see the tomb, the rock rolling aside, that is clearly CGI, and I think it takes down the production value. This shot was not necessary either. I think they should have cut immediately to this next shot, this right here with the hand. That should have been your next shot. You should not have had that tomb rolling aside thing. But otherwise, wow, that's powerful. It kind of gives me chills. Very, very effectively done. Well done, filmmakers, church, whoever is the one who made it. Good job. That was very well done. And I think it gets the message across super effectively in a way that anybody in any language could understand. That's one of the things that I think is so effective about using film when you're teaching lessons theologically, or, kind of passing on the word about something you believe. Film is so visual that if you tell a story right on film, you could watch it on mute and you still understand everything that's going on. That is what you aim for. Sort of the Stanley Kubrick approach to filmmaking, that you could watch it with the sound turned off and understand everything that's going on. That is just beautifully done in both of these, and I think they're fascinating visions for how they wanted to tell these stories. They made it short, they made it sweet, but they also clearly put a lot of passion and hard work into it. So bravo to both of the filmmakers who made these short films. Bravo. I hope they get more attention. They certainly deserve it. And yeah, that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful Easter, and I'll see you in the next one.